Well, hello. So, talking about there's lots of diets and exercise plans, cleanses. Today I'm going to talk about a cleanse that worked for me. So, it's from Isagenix, and it was introduced by an uncle of mine that he's likes to run marathons and trail runs and lots of running. Uh, but he noticed that when he wasn't doing lots of running, still working out decently, but not like training for a marathon, he gained, he had like an extra, well, he had extra fat. Like he didn't really gain weight. I mean, maybe he obviously gained some back because when you're training for marathon, you're training for your body to function at performance levels while it's starving and consuming itself. So he, but whenever he wasn't, he would pack on a little bit of fat that he didn't like around his midsection. It was like 3 to 5 to 10 pounds, somewhere in that range, but not a lot. But he wanted to get rid of it, so he did a bunch of research. He's a aeronautics engineer, really smart person, really intellectual. So he studied and he found this thing from Isagenix, and their what they tout, what they put forth is that the fat stores impurities, which is true, and their cleanse, what it does is it helps gets those impurities out of your fat so that your body can burn it easier, which is true because your fat in your body is stored energy. It's excess nutrients, excess energy that the body doesn't use, and so it stores it in fat, adipose tissue. But if there's other stuff in there, it gets stored in there as well. It's not just pure energy. It's kind of like if you're anywhere where there's snow. The first snowy fall you have, the first stuff you get is pretty dirty. Same thing with rain. If you haven't had rain for a long time and then it rains, that first rain, pretty dirty. Why? Because it's taking all the dust, everything that's out in the air, and bringing it down. But snow works better because it can accumulate in great huge piles. So when it gets stored, impurities can be and are stored with it. So you clean out the impurities, your fat can be used more and accessed more readily. Like snow. If the snow doesn't look clean, pure, and white, you're not going to go out there and eat it. You're not going to take it and turn it into snow cream. Especially if it's yellow. I would hope not, because that's not lemon. So, and then one of the things that they say that targets the fat that's around your internal organs, which is the hardest fat to get rid of. Why? Because it's not near any major muscle groups. Because fat's stored everywhere in the body, the thing is that it's deposited by the blood, and their biggest energy users are your main motor muscles, so your legs, predominantly your thighs, hips, those kinds of muscles. But also, if you work out, your biceps, your pectoral muscles. So it's a lot easier to lose fat where you have muscle. And also, so if, like myself, I have most of my fat is deposited around my abdomen. And also just the male body type deposits your adipose tissue around the belly. And with women, it's more around the hips and stuff like that. But the fat that's around your organs, there's not really any big main muscle groups around there. I mean, yeah, I definitely need to work out my abs, but even then, my abs don't cause me to walk. They're stabilizers. So, but I don't walk using my abs. I'm not a snake or a lamia or a half snake or anything like that. So they're not really used that much. I'm also not like a gymnast or a martial artist that focus on the core, and so they have lots of exercises that keep that core nice and tight, which we all could use. And so, but that's what they tout, that their product cleanses impurities from the fat, makes it easily accessible and burnable, and specifically more so targets your fat that's around your organs. And so he used it, he lost it, and he didn't gain it back. He didn't get that fat back. As long as he keeps, that level of activity where he first, noticed he had that fat, he didn't want it. He had extra weight, he didn't want it. But he didn't also want to run, like he didn't want to train. He didn't want to have the lifestyle where he's always training for a marathon. Didn't want that. So he did it. I know he did one, and then he did like maybe 3 total, spread out for like half a year. But basically after the first one, he got rid of it and it stayed gone. He did some other ones just to kind of help, and then I think maybe at one point he was doing like once a year, just kind of as a maintenance thing, kind of like checking your antifreeze, before winter. And then my grandmother, who is is has some extra weight, but her body can't do the intensity training that one would normally do if they're my age or even 20 years younger. Her body can't handle, her body systems cannot handle that level of exercise. And of course, she was eating a lot healthier too, but still. So he introduced that to her, and she did it. She didn't do the as intense one as he did, and she did it over a longer time period. But she lost 10 to 15 pounds and didn't really get it back, but most of it was fat. And then my dad, he with lots of stress with work, and then my grandfather passing away, just had a spike in blood sugar, had type 2 diabetes, took some medicine, but he really changed his lifestyle around. And one of the things he did is for my uncles, and he did the Isagenix cleanse, and it worked wonders. So his first time around, he lost like 13 to 15 pounds, and then after eating regular food again or eating normally, he gained back like 2 or 3 pounds, and that was it. So I did that. I've done it before, but I was like, hey, I need a jump start on, because especially since losing my job and stuff, I'm adrift, and not as much motivation as I had. A lot of more mental stress because I don't have that security that comes from having a steady paycheck. So I'm like, well, I was cleaning, organizing, seeing what I can sell, seeing what I don't need, kind of purging stuff, trying to keep busy work, and I found a couple of the containers of the cleanse, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So I did. Like it takes 10 days, a 10 days cleanse. But what it is, you do 2 shake days, and then you do 2 cleanse days, and you do 3 shake days, and then 2 cleanse days, and then 1 or 2 shake days. And on the cleanse days, you take the cleanse, which is a powder form, and you put 2 scoops of that into a cup of water, mix it up, and drink it 4 times a day. And basically, you're not, during your cleanse days, you're not supposed to eat anything and just drink a lot of water. I mean, they have like, they tout, because they've got lots of snacks and other things to accompany it to help, maximize their profit and maximize the experience. But for me, if I needed it, a handful of almonds or walnuts and like a Granny Smith apple. And that was all I would eat during the day if I needed it. And it wouldn't all be all at once. It'd be like, hey, just 5 or 6 nuts, 2 or 3 times a day, maybe an apple if I needed it. The thing was, is like, well, I made a mistake. I was like, well, let's just do it. I've done it before. The thing is, I haven't done it in like 2 years, and I'm way heavier than last time I did it. And my eating habits, stress and snacks. I couldn't do the 2 consecutive days. I did one day. I was like, oh man, and that's even with eating some nuts and apples. I just can't do this. So I did 1 cleanse day, and then I did 3 shake days, and then 2 cleanse days, and then 2 shake and a cleanse, and then a shake. That was pretty good. So I did it, and you can look it all up. But you didn't do the shake days. You have a shake. They have a meal replacement shake that you can buy and use. And I didn't want to spend the money on it, so I had some of my Life's Abundance plant protein, which I love. I had a vanilla flavor, which that's the only vanilla flavor one I like. But the chocolate one I absolutely adore. Best protein powder I've ever used. And I've had about 20 different kinds over the years. And so instead of spending that, I did a scoop of that with some frozen berries, banana, and of course a protein powder and some milk. And that came to, it's under 300 calories. So, it was around, 350, I can't remember, but, it's 350 calories or less. So I had that in the morning, that in the evening. In the middle of the day, they want you to eat a nice healthy meal, which is around that 300 calorie range. So on cleanse days, aside from if I needed a Granny Smith apple and a handful of walnuts, which is barely 300 calories, if that, I was only for those 10 days, even on days where I had food, I was sitting around under 1,000, 600 to 1,000 calories. And I made sure I ate it healthy. I cooked, which is my body type, red meat's better, so I usually did some red meat, usually beef, but also did chicken one time. But predominantly I did, because with my body type, I need ideally is get most of my calories first from protein, and then from good fats, and then from carbs. And so that's what I did. I had a lot of vegetables, predominantly like your California mix. They're really easy. You get those like $1.20 from Walmart or whatever that you can, the frozen vegetables that you can throw into the microwave, and they steam themselves after 6 to 7 minutes, and bam, vegetables. So I had like 1 bag of those, or broccoli with some meat, and then I avoided carbs and ate all carbs that I could. One day I had like a little bit of pasta with it, but predominantly, that was it. A lot of vegetables that have good fiber and bulk that take a long time to digest, like broccoli and kale and what's that other one? Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, spears, ones that have lots of good dietary fiber, which fill you up and stick with you because they take a long time to break down. And they don't have a lot of calories. You know, I like to oven roast them or air fry them with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper or your favorite seasoning blend. And yeah, it's a little more calories than just steaming it, but it tastes a whole lot better. And if we're honest with ourselves, we eat stuff that tastes better, you know, like broccoli. Smother that sucker in cheese and yeah, we'll eat it. Cheese and bacon broccoli? Yeah, we'll eat that. That's not any good. That totally defeats the purpose of eating broccoli because it's not healthy, comparatively speaking. So, but no, I used the air fryer and did it like that, or did it in my toaster oven instead of using the whole oven, and that tasted wonderful. Or stir fry it kind of in a skillet instead of steaming it. Or I would steam it on a low end and then throw it in the skillet with a little bit of oil and some salt and pepper. Bam, a lot tastier than just steamed broccoli in the back. I digress. So, for those 10 days, I had 0 to 300 calories or 600 to 800 calories a day. And I lost, let's see. So I was 276 pounds. And then when I was done, but before, so my last shake day, and at the end, so the morning after my last shake day, so that's after two shake days, 2 cleanse days, 3 shake days, 2 cleanse days, and the shake day. Ideally, I just broke it up a little differently, but that's what I did. And then when I got on the scale after those, basically 2 weeks, and I had lost 14 pounds. So I was, 276, so I was 266, that's 263. 263. So yeah, I'd lost 13 pounds. And the real clincher is that since I've been working jobs that are in an office, when I update my wardrobe, it's all things I can wear in an office. But now that I'm not working, but I know people that need like some farm work or some landscaping, like what I did before I started working in offices. So those pants specifically that I wore before then were like super tight, like I'm gonna pop a button off, or they're not comfortable. And take a loop of paracord and tie that around and use that to hold the button to give me an extra like 4 inches or 2 inches, so that it's not feeling like it's trying to constrict me in half. And I put on those pants, and they were snug. They were still snug. But they weren't tight. They weren't cutting into me. I didn't have to Hulk button my pants. I just, little tension, and they're buttoned. But I didn't feel like the button's gonna pop off, or I got a constrictor around my waist, or having to, lay on the bed and breathe in and exhale and button my pants. I didn't have to do that. And I was like, well, that wasn't hard. And then since then, I mean, yeah, it was hard starting off, but like once I got used to it during the cleanse, I wasn't like constantly craving snacks, so it wasn't constantly so it got me out of that habit of, hey, I'm bored, hey, I'm stressed, let's eat something. And if I did, it's an apple, celery, carrots, some nuts. It's not popcorn and cookies and sweets. Ice cream. Ice cream. It's not that. And it's like, of course, that's interval fasting with a cleanse to it. And so yeah, if you're looking for a cleanse, and they have ones where like, you can do it in a month's time or 2 weeks time. It's not that intense, but for me, I don't want to do it for a super long period of time. Of course, the thing is, you do it for a month, you've got a habit of not eating a lot. Like, it is a habit, which, I think it's like, 21 or 24 days to create a habit, 27 days to create a habit, whatever it is. So if you do it for a month, that's 30 days. It's a habit. You've lived a month. Of course, it's a different kind of a schedule, but you've lived a month of being conscious of what you're eating, of eating less. In my case, 10 days. Let's see, 2, 6, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, so 10 days. Well, 11 days when the last shake day, but so 11 days, 12 days with being conscious of what I'm eating, of paying attention to that. And so, one, I feel incredibly great because immediate results. I have lost, without doing much, I have my normal lifestyle that I've been doing since then. I just didn't eat food all the time. And I lost 13 pounds instead of gaining it. I feel lighter. Like, I feel like my body's overburdened as much as it was. And my diet, my brain hasn't quite caught up yet, so sometimes my brain's just like, hey, let's eat that. Let's eat that. This huge amount of food. And that's the one thing from doing the past cleanse is when you stop, you can't just go hog wild, because then your stomach, which has shrunk down from not having a lot of volume of food inside of it, you're not to the point of someone who's starving a lot where your stomach's permanently that size and you'll hurt yourself, but you've gone long enough that it's shrunk down, but it still can easily expand out without you hurting yourself. And so all I really did is just kind of, instead of having 2 shakes, I just had a light breakfast. It kind of kept my meal portion size kind of the same that I was doing when I was in the same kind of meals, lots of vegetables, and then protein and very little carbs. Like whenever I was doing my cleanse, I'm full all day. Like, I don't feel the need and the urge to just shove stuff in my face and be like, hey, let's snack on this. Hey, let's munch on this. If I do get the munchies, I've got a drawer full of carrots that I can peel, and I've got a thing of celery. I don't have any easily snackable things that I can use to, so that if it's something I'm hungry on, so if I really want to eat something, it takes a little amount of work to rip off that celery stalk and wash it, trim off the ends. Same thing with carrots, peel it. I actually had to want to eat something truly, instead of because the convenience isn't there. I've removed that convenience from me. So now I'll attach the links to Isagenix, to that website, and to Life's Abundance for the protein powder. And just FYI, for Life's Abundance, I am a field rep, so I would appreciate if you click on the link, because if you like it, then it's great for me. So, but they don't pay me for that, so it's not paid advertising. Be nice. But, so yeah, you can buy all the products from Isagenix, or you can. I mean, and their shakes are good. Like their meal shakes, the chocolate ones, they're good. They're easy. But if you don't want to shell out the money for it, and if you already have, stuff to make a protein shake, like you've got a protein powder you like, and you have a good mix of some, like I put, put kale. That's what I forgot. I also put kale, berries, kale, milk, protein powder, maybe half a banana, until I ran out of bananas. And I was too lazy to buy more bananas, so I didn't go bananas. But so yeah, you can if you don't, and it's good stuff. It's not bad. Their meal shakes are pretty good. They're really really good actually. But if you already have the stuff at home and you don't want to buy it, and that's what you can do for it. So, but it was a good reminder for me, and it helped me curb my appetites. It, immediate results, good results. Even though I'm not exercising any better, but it just showed me, hey, you've been hitting on that food just a little too hard. So, and there's lots of them out there, do the research, find one you like. If you got, a friend that's that has one that's worked for them, and you have similar lifestyles. Yeah, that's the thing. Look at one that you can do with your lifestyle, and stick with it. And you can adapt it too. Like ideally the intense one, two cleanse days back to back. The first time I couldn't do it. I used to be able to do one, and I was all out of whack. I was like, oh no. So then the next day I just did a shake day. I did 2 shake days, and then I did 2 cleanse days. And then I could do the 2 cleanse days back to back. And I did 2 shakes and one cleanse day, and then one more shake day. So, I changed it up because I couldn't do that back to back. Adapt things. But, make sure you understand the goal. Isagenix goal is you eat their cleanse stuff that cleanses out the impurities in your fat, especially around your organs. It's hard to get out, get rid of. And you stay under a calorie limit, and you're not eating empty calories like, candies and cakes and sugars and donuts and whatever. Ice cream, insert your favorite thing that's lots of sugar, lots of bad fat, lots of carbs that doesn't stick with you. And you actually stop and think, hey, what is something that's going to stick with me? Which is why, the kale, the asparagus, the Brussels sprouts, lots of the vegetables, the California medley mix, and then the broccoli. And I found ways to cook them that I enjoy, which, air fry them or oven roast them with some olive oil, favorite seasoning mix, or just some salt and pepper. Bam, takes a little longer, but it tastes a whole lot better. So, but yeah. So if you're looking at some way to kind of jumpstart having a healthier lifestyle, or just kind of get jumpstarted on losing weight, look at cleanse. Look at intermittent or interval fasting. Intermittent fasting, yeah, look at that. See, do some research, find what you like, find what works for you. So, hope it helps. Ciao.